Well, it looks like New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez could be gearing up to be the new face of the Democratic Party. The self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist has been drawing tens of thousands to her rallies, pretty big crowds. She's breaking her own fundraising records, and she's surging in polls among Democrats. Now, some are wondering if her latest post is a, quote, soft launch for a presidential run in 2028.
To be welcomed here in this state, all of us together, seeing our common cause, this is what this country is all about. Don't let them trick us into thinking we are enemies. Don't let them trick us into thinking we can be separated into rural and urban, black and white and Latino. We are one. And from the waitress who is now speaking to you today from this podium, I can tell you, impossible is nothing. Miracles start with mustard seeds. And that is what each and every one of you represent today.
Kennedy, that looks like a launch to me. And let me start with just her role in the Democratic Party. So aside from her general approvals in the population, 61%, according to YouGov, of Democrats view her favorably. This means she has the highest favorability of any Democrat who has not run for president. A Yale University survey found her at number 2 in a hypothetical matchup in a Democratic primary. So she's no one to scoff at. She's certainly someone who could potentially win a nomination.
Yes. So here's what happened. The 4 years of the Biden administration created a power vacuum because you had a president who wasn't really leading. You also had an administration that didn't have very solid ideas for the Democrat Party. People felt like the party had moved away from them and was being run by old snobs. So when that power vacuum was created, they didn't come up with great ideas in order to defeat Trump and look into the future. But the socialists have been doing that the entire time. So their agenda is based on statism, making government bigger and more oppressive, but also populism. And that's where Democrats ceded the most support to the Republican Party, to President Trump, and to Vice President Vance. So AOC has put herself in the position to fill up that vacuum, and she's doing that with name recognition, social media. But Tomi Lahren made the best point. I think it was about a week ago, and I'm going to let her go off on this because it changed my mind about AOC, because I was like, well, maybe she is a big threat. She's certainly a big threat to economic freedom. But Tomi sort of laid it all out why she could face such a challenge if she's actually faced with other presidential candidates.
Well, you teed Tomi up perfectly to make that case.
Yeah, so my question last week, and I have the same question, is can we imagine AOC in a debate situation? And I'm not even talking about a presidential debate between a Republican candidate and AOC. I'm talking about a primary. I'm talking about, can she hold her own when actually challenged about policy positions? Even what are her own policy positions? And if you look at her policy positions, if she were to go on stage and talk about those, she might still be able to get a crowd. But could she even get Democrats on her side? Because Democrats are saying, we want you to moderate. And she is the most extreme. The Green New Deal, universal health care, wide open borders, lawlessness, cashless bail. Those are all AOC policy positions that she's never actually articulated well, by the way. You can go on stage and talk about a mustard seed, and you can talk about we don't separate between this. That sounds great if you are a rock star or a motivational speaker. Her policy positions are not popular within her own party. I don't even think she could unseat Chuck Schumer. And I certainly don't think she could be the Democrat nominee. We got Joe Biden in 2020 because he was the most moderate on that stage, not because he was some shining star. So the Democrat Party would be well to understand that. Influencer culture does not translate to a general election.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole!